The life story of Johnny Depp, extended version. Some lives are simple. They follow a straight line, predictable, safe, but some lives are chaos from the very beginning. This is one of those stories. Before the fame, before the spotlight, before the unforgettable characters that changed cinema forever, there was a boy, lost in a world that never stayed still. His name is Johnny Depp, a childhood filled with constant movement, new houses, new schools, new faces. Nothing ever felt permanent. Nothing ever felt like home. But the real storm wasn't outside. It was inside, a home filled with tension, silence that felt louder than noise, moments that shaped a mind far too young to understand them. And in that chaos, he didn't grow up like everyone else. He adapted. He escaped. At just 12 years old, he found that escape, a guitar. Not just an instrument, but a lifeline. Every chord became emotion. Every note became freedom. While the world around him felt broken, music made sense. It gave him control in a life where he had none. He didn't dream of being an actor. Hollywood was never the plan. Fame was never the goal. He wanted something simpler, to play music, to feel something real. But life doesn't always follow the path we choose. Sometimes, chooses for us. From small, struggling beginnings, to a moment in a nightmare on Elm Street that changed everything. From becoming a teen sensation in 21 Jump Street, to rejecting fame itself in search of something deeper. He didn't want to be famous. He wanted to be different. And then, he became something no one expected. Pirate. But not just any pirate. A legend. A character that would redefine cinema forever. But this story is not just about success. Because behind the iconic roles, behind the applause, behind the spotlight, there was pain. There were battles. There were moments where everything fell apart. Fame built him, but life tested him. And at his lowest point, the world watched, judged, turned away. But some stories don't end in. Some stories fight back. This is not just the story of an actor. This is the story of chaos turned into art, of pain turned into performance, of a man who lost everything and found a way to rise again. This is the life story of Johnny Depp, childhood without a home, growing up in chaos. Some children grow up with stability, a home they recognize, a routine they understand, a life that feels safe. But not Johnny Depp. He was born on June 9, 1963, in Owensboro, Kentucky. But home was never one place, kept changing, over and over again. Different cities, different houses, different schools. Imagine being a child, just starting to feel comfortable, just beginning to make friends. And then suddenly, everything disappears. You move again, you start again, you lose everything again. That was his reality. But the constant moving wasn't the hardest part. The real struggle was inside the house. Tension. Arguments, an environment filled with emotional instability. For a young boy, it was overwhelming. And when a child cannot control his surroundings, he begins to escape them, not physically, but mentally. Music, the only place he felt free. At the age of 12, something entered his life that would change everything. A guitar, not just wood and strings, but freedom. For the first time, he had control over something. While the world around him felt unpredictable, music was predictable. While life felt loud and chaotic, music made sense. He would spend hours playing, learning, experimenting, getting lost in sound. It wasn't about becoming famous. It wasn't about success. It was survival. Music became his escape from reality. And slowly, that escape became his identity. By the age of 16, he made a decision most people wouldn't dare to make. He dropped out of school, not because he was lazy, but because he believed in something different. He wanted to become a musician. No backup plan, no safety net, just belief. The accidental actor, a path he never chose. Life has a strange way of redirecting people. Johnny Depp never planned to become an actor. It wasn't his dream. It wasn't even an option. But sometimes, the biggest turning points are accidents. Through connections, he was introduced to acting opportunities. And soon, he landed a role in A Nightmare on Elm Street. First, it meant nothing. Just another job. another experience. But something unexpected happened. He felt something different. Acting gave him another form of escape. But this time, he wasn't escaping reality. He was creating new ones. He could become anyone, feel anything, express everything he had been holding inside. And slowly, without planning it, he started becoming an actor. Fame comes fast, but feels wrong. Then came the spotlight, the recognition, the fame. Johnny Depp starred in 21 Jump Street, and suddenly, everything changed. He became a sensation, a global crush, fans everywhere, attention everywhere. But inside, he felt trapped, because that wasn't who he wanted to be. He didn't want to be famous for his looks. He didn't want to be another Hollywood product. He wanted something deeper, something real. And so, he made a decision that most actors are too afraid to make. He walked away from easy success, choosing art over fame, becoming different. Instead of choosing popularity, he chose purpose. Johnny Depp began taking roles that were strange, unusual, different. He started working with Tim Burton, and together, they created something unforgettable. In Edward Scissorhands, he played a character who barely spoke, yet expressed everything through emotion. It was risky, it was unconventional, and it was brilliant. This was the moment the world realized. He wasn't trying to fit into Hollywood. He was creating his own path. The moment that changed everything. A legend is born. Every career has one moment, one role, one decision that changes everything. For Johnny Depp, that moment came in 2003, when he became Captain Jack Sparrow in Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl. No one expected it, not the audience, not the studio, maybe not even him. His performance was strange, unpredictable, different from anything seen before. But that's exactly what made it unforgettable. Jack Sparrow wasn't just a character. He was a phenomenon, and Johnny Depp became a global icon, living at the top, fame without limits. After Pirates, there was no turning back. He became one of the biggest stars in the world. Films like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Alice in Wonderland, showed his ability to disappear into roles. He wasn't acting anymore. He was transforming. But with that level of fame comes pressure, comes expectation, comes a life where privacy no longer exists. The storm, when life turns against you. Behind the success, a storm was building. His personal life became public. His relationship with Amber Heard turned into a global controversy. Legal battles, media headlines, public judgment. The world was watching, but not as fans, as critics. And for the first time, his name was associated not with success, but with controversy. The fall, losing everything. Careers are built over years, but they can fall in moments. Johnny Depp began losing roles, losing opportunities, losing public support. He went from being one of Hollywood's biggest stars to someone many doubted. And in those moments, the hardest battle is not with the world. It's with yourself. The comeback, rebuilding from nothing. But some people don't stay down. Johnny Depp chose to fight, not for fame, but for truth. Through time, through struggle, through resilience, he slowly rebuilt his image, rebuilt his career, rebuilt himself. And in doing so, he proved something powerful, that even after losing everything, you can rise again. Final line, outro feel. This is not just a story of fame. This is a story of survival, of identity, of losing everything and finding yourself again.